Would it surprise you if I were to tell you that learning to speak is a bit like riding a bike? You need myriad sensory motor skills to ride a bike, but it is so seemingly simple once learned that there's an expression about it. Easy as riding a bike. Learning to talk is no different. This seemingly simple process of language acquisition belies real complexity, involving auditory and visual feedback, somatosensation in the context of interaction, and establishing motor memory building blocks. Whether learning to ride a bike or learning to talk, early in the process, a learner relies heavily on feedback to evaluate the quality of their performance. A bike might have training wheels that let the learner feel out where to find their center of balance. Babies learning to speak rely on the engagement of the adults around them to get crucial feedback, not just for the meaning of the words, but for how to produce and assemble the sounds of a language to be understood. The cognitive effort is high when first acquiring a skill, but with practice, it becomes easier and faster with fewer errors until, whether riding a bike or having a chat, you hardly need to think about it at all. Let's try to put this process into words. This is ASU. From the early stages of fetal development, babies experience the sound of speech as vibrations through the amniotic fluid to the developing ears and brains. The melody of their mother's speech transmits easily through the fluid, even though the words she's saying sound muffled. This early exposure lays the neural groundwork for learning how to talk, but there's still a long way to go. At birth, a baby emerges into a rich and varied sensory environment. He can now hear his parents' speech clearly, and he already recognizes their voices' melodies. He can see his caretakers' faces as they speak, allowing him to pair what he's hearing with what he's seeing. Imagine a parent or older sibling or cousin playing peekaboo with baby. He hears boo, and he sees it paired with the speaker's lips pressed together and then released into the rounded ooh. When baby's eyes light up and he smiles, the speaker says boo again and again, reinforcing the exchange as a pleasing social interaction. This social engagement element is key because it promotes a sort of practice in which the baby pairs the sound and sight input again and again, laying down neural representations about what to expect to hear when he sees lips pressed together and released into a rounded ooh. As this auditory-visual sensorimotor pairing continues, another important propensity of the baby comes into play: the propensity for babies to mimic or imitate the actions of others with whom they're engaged. Now he not only sees and hears his caretakers saying boo, but he feels the urge to try it too. He mimics their mouth position by activating the muscles of the lips and simultaneously feels the sensation that the movement produces. As he attempts to imitate boo, he also hears the sound he produces. Babbling allows him to learn those important pairings between the movements he makes and the acoustic and proprioceptive consequences he experiences. As the pairings become more strongly represented in the nervous system, less feedback and effort is needed to produce the sounds. Instead, the brain treats the syllables as sensorimotor programs that can be efficiently executed in a feed-forward manner. Sensorimotor programs are the result of repeated pairing of motor activity and the associated sensory consequences. The early speech sensorimotor programs are the building blocks for more complicated sensorimotor programs that are words and phrases. The development of speech sensorimotor programs continues with the acquisition of new words, longer sentences, and more sophisticated grammar. By adulthood, speech is an overlearned sensorimotor skill. We monitor sensory feedback only lightly to catch ourselves when we mispronounce or misspeak. Even from our earliest development, the human brain strives for efficiency in learning new skills. When it comes to speech, for most of us, the process of practice, correction, and new construction in our first language happens mostly before our earliest memories. If challenged with learning a new language, however, we're feedback reliant once again. The process to acquire this new skill is still present and within our capability. This was ASU. Thanks for watching.